Hi, and welcome to SparcStart's TA Leader Series, where we have the privilege of talking to some of the leading people in the industry to hear what they're thinking about, what questions they're asking, and tap into their expertise. Today, I'm thrilled to have Matt Adams join us. Matt, would you introduce yourself for the audience?
Yeah, thanks, Maury. Thanks for having me. I am Matt Adam. I am the Chief Talent Strategist here with a company called NAS Recruitment Innovation. We are one of the leading employer branding and recruitment marketing firms. We've been around a long time, and I've been around in this space a long time too.
Right, and you've seen lots of changes, as
Oh,
have
yeah.
I, in this space. But one of the things that stays central to clients is having a career site that's really focused on candidates. What changes have you seen, and kind of where do you see it going right now?
Yeah, this is one of the areas that has kind of been consistent for the past 20 years. And that's that the career site, we view it as kind of the nucleus of an organization's recruitment marketing strategy. So, no matter where a candidate starts their journey to find a job, whether it's on a search engine, whether it's on a job board, LinkedIn, wherever, ultimately they're driving back to your career site. And it's a really important touch point. I think often undervalued, but it's the only place where you have a candidate's undivided attention. They're not looking at you and lots of other companies. They're just focused on you. For many companies, it's their first impression. So it's your chance to kind of lock them in, to get them excited, kind of that handshake moment, to make sure that you're leaving them with a peek as to what it's like on the inside. And then, when we can get into some of the, parameters that make a good site and make it easy for a candidate to find what they're looking for, has become really critical. So
yeah. Candidates have become really demanding in terms of one click. They want to get to where they want to get.
it's got to be quick. And if it's not, yeah, you're
You're
losing
going to
them.
lose.
Yep.
And I'm also amazed at companies that squander the opportunity you're talking about. You've got the candidate's attention,
Mm,
and they don't tell them anything with any meat to it. They do a hero shot at the top and some, hey, very generic kind of information. Where do you see people doing a good job? How do you hook someone of you once you've got them there and you've
yeah,
landed them? How do
right.
you capitalize on that opportunity?
Yeah, so you just spoke to one of my biggest pet peeves, and that's the generic content, the stock imagery where you could change out their logo with somebody else and you'd never know who the company was.
Yeah.
And it's the exact opposite of what candidates want when they come to a site. They want to peek under the tent as to what it's like on the inside. Companies that we see doing it really well have taken the time to, first of all, understand their EVP, what's unique and different about them, and articulating that very boldly on their site. And that can take the shape of you know, uh, uh, testimonials and great hero imagery, but also, and Jermaine, to your world, the video content. Like the video is gold on these career sites. It's really sticky content. It can, in a 30, 60-second spot, you can convey so much about what it's like on the inside and what they can expect.
I'm always amazed. We talk all the time about internet traffic right now is 86% video. And yet when you go to some career sites, they're entirely static.
Yeah.
And like we all watch video all the time. Yet I'm amazed that people think, oh, when someone's in career search mode, they don't want to watch video anymore.
Right, right. They want to read paragraphs and paragraphs of information. No, they don't. Yeah, we do what we call heat map testing, and it's where we're kind of looking at where people look on the site and where they spend their time. And anytime there's paragraphs of information, it's just nobody's looking at that. They're looking at the videos, or clicking on the testimonials, all that interactive element, but nothing about the copy that's on there.
And now that people are beginning their job search often with AI, sitting down with ChatGPT and saying, what's a good job in Phoenix?
Right.
How do you see career sites adapting to that?
Yeah. So, for years we've been talking about SEO, search engine optimization. So when you go to Google, you're typing in, driver jobs near me and see what pops up. That's still super critical. It's where we see about 70% of candidates starting their job search. But increasingly, we're thinking about AEO, answer engine optimization. And yes, it is direct, like where are these jobs, but it's also, what is it like to work for ABC company? So in that, we're starting to think about the content that we build into career sites, having FAQ pages that answer some of those questions that people are asking, having landing pages about specific job families, like things of that, like that, that just will answer some of those questions that are popping up increasingly on those on the
Yeah.
AI platforms.
Right. We're seeing that, more and more that candidates are being much more general and asking different things. We saw a job candidate recently who said, I want a job, but I want to be at least within an hour of a major airport and I want to be 20 minutes away from mountain biking trails.
Right.
And
Yeah.
those are things that are important to candidates, but
Right.
rarely show up on the career site. So it's interesting to watch employers rethink, when a candidate's making this decision, what are those things? It's yes, the job description is important. We all care about the content of our work, but we live as well. And it's important to have those things as well.
Right.
What else have you seen that's really a client who's done something that's impressed you or something they worked on a client that you think has been really successful?
Yeah, I would say a couple things. First of all, and these are pretty easy. Like these are easy fixes that any company can do. One challenge we see is a lot of companies kind of cattle call every candidate down the exact same path. So whether you're a high level executive or an entry level employee, you kind of click on the jobs and you're going to an ATS and having that same experience. The better option and the best companies are creating paths depending on those job families. So creating really customized experiences that speak to particular individuals, conveying what it's like to work in those different types of roles, not just what it's like to work at the organization overall, and then giving them different ways to make a transaction. So whether it's a quick apply, whether it's a full-on apply, whether it's sharing information, lots of those types of things. We see it a lot in healthcare where nurses don't need to, they're not going to spend 30 minutes filling out an online application, but they will do a quick apply and give you their basic information. You can start a conversation with them. So that's kind of the simple example of that.
I
Yeah.
I love that. I'm on a kick to get us to stop using the word recruiting to cover hourly, high volume, along with executive hard to fill. Those processes are different. The decision making by
Yeah.
the candidate's different.
Right.
I love that you're formalizing this and giving people different paths because it really is someone who's looking for a restaurant, front of the house server position, entirely different set of considerations than your next CIO.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And to video, that plays right into it because you can have general videos about what the culture is like overall. But when you get to those landing pages, you want it to be laser focused on, I'm a cook and I'm trying to find what that environment's like. So those tailored videos become really important.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. But I could talk to you all afternoon about this.
This
I
is
think
fun.
we'd be in
Yeah,
agreement a lot of it, but want to be respectful of everyone's time. If people want to talk to this more about you, are you open if they reach out on LinkedIn? Are you open to connections or more
absolutely. Yep.
questions?
Find me on
Great,
LinkedIn. NASrecruitment.com is another way to reach me. And yeah, love the
great,
conversations.
wonderful. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Maury. Bye.